One question we as a people need to decide is how we react when we hear warnings from the leading scientists in the world. This is the first picture of the Earth from space that any of us ever saw. It became known as Earthrise. And that one picture exploded in the consciousness of humankind. It led to dramatic changes. The next picture was taken on the last of the Apollo missions, Apollo 17, and it is the most commonly published photograph in all of history. The next image I'm going to show you is taken by a spacecraft called the Galileo that went out to explore the solar system, and as it was leaving Earth's gravity, it turned its cameras around and took a time-lapse picture of 1 day's worth of rotation. Isn't that beautiful? This is Mount Kilimanjaro more than 30 years ago and more recently. And a friend of mine just came back from Kilimanjaro with a picture he took a couple months ago. Within the decade, there will be no more snows of Kilimanjaro. This is happening in Glacier National Park. I climbed to the top of this in 1998 with one of my daughters. Within 15 years, this will be the park formerly known as Glacier.
Glacier National Park removing those signs around the park stating all the glaciers would be melted by 2020.
A new scientific study shows that for the first time they're finding polar bears that have actually drowned, swimming long distances, up to 60 miles to find the ice. And they didn't find that before. Coral reefs all over the world, because of global warming, they end up like this. And all the fish species that depend on the coral reefs are also in jeopardy as a result.
Long-term monitoring by the Australian Institute of Marine Science shows the best coral growth since they've been monitoring it over the past 36 years.
Here's Manhattan. This is the World Trade Center Memorial Site. And after the horrible events of 9/11, we said never again. But this is what would happen to Manhattan. The area where the World Trade Center Memorial is to be located would be underwater. Is it possible that we should prepare against other threats besides terrorists? Maybe we should be concerned about other problems as well.
600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling the oceans, creating these atmospheric rivers and the rain bombs.
928 peer-reviewed articles, 0% disagreed with the consensus. This is really not a political issue so much as a moral issue. Each one of us is a cause of global warming, but each of us can make choices to change that. With the things we buy, the electricity we use, the cars we drive, we can make choices to bring our individual carbon emissions to zero. America made a moral decision that, of course, women should have the right to vote. We desegregated our schools, and we cured fearsome diseases like polio. We landed on the moon, the very example of what's possible when we are at our best. You remember that home movie of the Earth spinning in space? One of those spacecraft continuing on out into the universe, when it got 4 billion miles out in space, Carl Sagan said, let's take another picture of the Earth. You see that pale blue dot? That's us. Everything that has ever happened in all of human history has happened on that pixel. All the triumphs and all the tragedies, all the wars, all the famines, all the major advances. It's our only home. And that is what is at stake. Planet Earth, this is a moral issue. That what we take for granted might not be here for our children. What gets us into trouble is not what we don't know, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
The most commonly published photograph in all of history.
So no wonder people are confused.